Our guest tonight is Lucha Underground star and wrestling legend Rey Mysterio. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you very much.
No problem. So, since joining Lucha Underground, you've been one of the cornerstones of the brand. What made you want to sign with Lucha initially, and how have you been received by fans and fellow wrestlers since your debut?
I'll tell you, before I even got a chance, well, before I even signed with Lucha, I was driving up. A good friend of mine, Onan, up there for the shows, talked to me a little bit about the project, and I said, "You gotta check it out, man. This is like the old days when you and Juventud and Psychosis were going at it." I was like, "Really?" So I was able to check out the show live before it even went on the air, and it really caught my attention. This was something that we had really spoken about years ago in WCW and WWE, how it would be awesome to just give that Cruiserweight division, a boost and let them perform, at their highest level. And this is exactly what Lucha Underground does. You don't really see that many big guys around, and the guys that you do see that are big are definitely doing that lucha style. And I'm talking like a Brian Cage, like a Matanza, like Mil Muertes. They're going out there and wrestling like lightweights. So that was the first thing that caught my attention, man. This the style that I grew up, or that I learned from the beginning that I started in this industry up until now. So what better way for me to finish off if this is my destiny, to finish off in Lucha Underground than with the style that I originally began with, going back to my roots.
Well, season 3 of Lucha Underground is off to a fast start. Unlike other times in your career, you are now being portrayed as a favorite instead of the underdog. How have you enjoyed this change of pace?
I don't really try and look at it as a favorite. I think I've been an underdog all my life, and in my mindset, you can't change that. I always go out like that. That's just the way I was brought up. Being the smallest in class at wrestling school, always the smallest. Being in the ring, and still to the day, even in Lucha Underground, it don't matter if I'm in there with Chavo or if I'm in there with Matanza or Mil Muertes or Pentagon. I'm an underdog, and that's my psychology. That's my mentality. So I don't think that really changes. The fans, I think, that know Rey Mysterio for the longest time, I truly believe that they will also look at it that way. Their mentality is like, Rey's always been the underdog, so they don't know me as anybody different.
Well, you mentioned Pentagon. In your time with Lucha, you've squared off against some of the best in the world right now. Prince Puma, Pentagon Dark, many others. Which wrestlers have you enjoyed working with the most? And of those you haven't faced yet, who would you most like to get in the ring against?
I'll tell you, some of the wrestlers that I haven't faced or that I hadn't faced, I'm actually facing now in Lucha Underground. One of these guys is definitely Prince Puma. The closing of season 2 with Prince Puma was just, one of the highlights of my career, of this stage in my life. So I had to go out to Prince Puma for helping me put on a great show for the fans. Definitely one of wrestlers right now that has a tremendous future ahead of him. Pentagon, another guy that I was looking very forward to being in the ring with, and I have shared the ring in a 3-on-3, 2-on-2, never in a singles match. I can't. Oh, actually, I have, and it was incredible as well. Triple A, we worked in Mexico and in singles matches. The one person I'm looking forward to, and I still haven't been able to work in a singles match, is Dragon Azteca. And I, even though I'm his mentor in this upcoming season, I think just like I had a great match with Prince Puma, I think it would be the same with Azteca. So I'm looking forward to eventually meeting up with him.
Well, as a veteran of the business, Lucha Underground is completely different from any other company right now and any other company you've really worked for during your career. What are some of the subtle differences between Lucha and other brands you've worked for on screen and behind the scenes that maybe fans don't see and don't notice?
I think one of the big differences, and I think it's very noticeable, unfortunately, but it's a good noticeable difference. The fact that the way Lucha Underground is shot, that cinematic feel that it has to it when we do those behind the scenes or backstage pre-tapes, definitely on another level. And I really enjoy watching them. It's one thing being a part of them when we're filming, we're shooting that, and then when you actually get a chance to watch it when it's aired and you get to see the final product. And it is just incredible, the transformation and the difference that it has from any other wrestling companies. Because at the end of the day, I really don't consider this as like a true wrestling company. It's more like a television series with Lucha Libre displayed at its best.
Well, now that you've been part of the Lucha Underground roster for 2 seasons, what are your long-term goals with the company? And do you see yourself eventually capturing the Lucha Underground Championship?
Most definitely. I think titles are always very important in your career. And whether you reign as champion for a very long time or you have it for whatever the time may be, to be part of a company and be known as champion is always good to have on your roster. As far as me see myself in longevity with Lucha Underground, I most definitely do. I would hope to end my career here if it came down to it, and take other roles in the Lucha Underground roster, whatever the case might be. But I definitely see a lot of the style that I was raised on here, and I think I can definitely help out a lot of the young talent that's up and coming here in Lucha Underground. So, I'm hoping to be around here as long as it lasts.
Well, shifting gears a little bit, you mentioned the Cruiserweight division a little earlier. WWE recently added the Cruiserweight division back and brought back the Cruiserweight Championship. As someone who has a long history in that weight class, what do you think about the division's return? And do you feel it could pigeonhole some performers?
It might. I mean, this is something that Dean Malenko had talked about for years. Is while I was in WWE is to give that noticeable touch to that division, that Cruiserweight division. For so long, WCW had it at its best because a lot of the heavyweights and a lot of the top talent didn't want to work with the smaller talent, so we pretty much created our own division. That was that Cruiserweight division, and we had some of the best matches of the roster most of the nights, and hoping that WWE would do the same. They did for a couple of years at the beginning in 2001, but they kind of dropped that whole division, and after so many years, it's starting back up. Let's hope that it rises to where it needs to be. I think that a lot of the fans want to see action, high-flying. They want to stay entertained. And I don't think there's a better division out there than us, the Cruiserweights, to be able to display that. It could be a pigeonhole for some, but at the end of the day, if you're happy, then you should be wherever you want to be.
One final question. Recently, former world champion Alberto El Patron departed from WWE for a second time. As a performer, as someone who's known him, would you like to see him return to Lucha? And does his treatment during his recent run impact you and people like you who, if they ever want to go back to WWE?
No, it doesn't impact me. I think his relationship with WWE was one thing, as like mine is, and as like everybody else's. I don't think anybody's services with a certain company should affect anybody else's. Even though we're both out of the same heritage, same background, Hispanics. But as far as him coming back to Lucha Underground, I would really love to see him in Lucha Underground. I didn't get a chance to be in the ring with him in Lucha Underground. His stay in Underground was very brief, and while he was setting up in Lucha Underground, I was still on my way out of WWE. So by the time I made it to Underground, he was already gone. So everything happened so fast. I had some great battles with him in WWE, and I would love to do the same in Underground if that's his desire to come back. I would really love to. He's one of the guys that I just had great chemistry in the ring with, and it's sometimes it's hard to find that when you have a bad guy and a good guy, or a heel and a baby face, and he plays such a good heel against me that it's very very catching when you see both of us together in the ring, because we have that good chemistry, and we transmit that to the fans.
Well, a huge thank you to our guest today, Rey Mysterio. Catch him killing it every Wednesday on Lucha Underground on the El Rey Network at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Tell the fans where they can support you.
You can find me on Instagram at 619 I am Lucha, and on Twitter and Facebook at Rey Mysterio.
Another huge thank you. Good luck moving forward, sir.
Thank you very much. Likewise. God bless.